I never liked that they put the Stalfos there. Usually the cutscene of him popping up always lasts longer than the stairs give you time for. So, same deal as before. I did this like a week ago, so this doesn't feel any new to me. Just turn, throw him at a wall, prep your hurricane spin, and go for a ride. I think I got about 5 of them there, I couldn't count. The warped music of these guys really is pretty trippy. It's nice that they did that. It is a nice touch. A lot of the things they did in this game are just nice touches that you don't really appreciate as you're playing it. Only after you play it for a second or third time. So let's try to get more of these guys. 1, 2, 3, 4. I got 6 of them there. That's nice. So only 4 more to worry about. We should probably get rid of those guys in the second, third. I've already forgotten how to count. Are you guys surprised? You should not be surprised. Let's see if we can get him before the light moves. Yes, we did. I'm sure the light was going to move eventually. Also, I just realized that this fight sort of reminds me of the Bowser fights in Super Mario 64, where you have yeah, just like before, the post just right there and I can't get him. But I have to chase after him. I mean, like, the way the mines are laid out in that game for the Bowser fights on 5 different ends of the arena, and you have the 5 spike columns in that arena, they're very similar. So that's 3 dungeons down, 1 boss to go, and I'm sure you guys have guessed which one that's going to be, and what dungeon it's going to be styled after. So we're going to head into the only door we have yet to go through, and that will bring us to the Wind Temple-based area. And this is by far the busiest of the things. You have to use like 5 or 6 different items in here. And let's just knock you off. Wonder if there are any other Wizrobes in here. I seem to recall there being 2, but I could be mistaken. So let's use the spring switch here. Weigh it down with our iron boots. Fling ourselves up and float over using our Deku Leaf. And I believe we can pass right through these wind currents. And that will take us to the opposite end here. Which will bring us to a couple of enemies, apparently. Yeah, I don't know what you guys are planning down here. If it's a surprise party, you're a couple of days late for my birthday. Or, as of the time this is going up, maybe a month late for the birthday. But I'm sure you guys don't care in the least. Not a fairy. So let's hookshot our way up to the top here. And take on our final nostalgia trip. Whee! And of all the warped boss musics, I love this one the most. And it shouldn't come as any surprise to you guys, because I love this boss theme in general. I'm not going to, like, not talk for the first minute like I did the first time, because, I mean, that gets kind of old fast, and I recognize that this is a Let's Play and you want to hear me talk. So, I recommend that you guys look this up and listen to it for yourselves on, like, an OST or something. Get out of the center of the pit, Link. There you are. Don't get eaten up. Not making that mistake again. Get rid of you. Come on, tongue, please. I just want to lock onto the tongue. Oh, this is... I mean, this fight is bad. It is. I didn't realize how bad it is. But, I mean, depending on where those guys are relative to you, it can be quite a pain to lock onto Molgera's tongue like that. And of course she keeps spitting out babies. Now, since I already hit her twice, she's probably going to pop out of the ground. Yep. So let's move out of the way. Try to get an epic shot with our camera like that of her swirling around. That actually turned out to be quite a bit more interesting than I expected it to. Alright, now that we've got all of the photogenic opportunities out of the way, it's time to actually go after Molgera. So, one more round should do it, since we do have the fully powered Master Sword. Apparently it's not any more powerful than it was before, so... Makar, I don't think you're praying hard enough, buddy. You... Where's Mulchera? Oh, she's popping up again. Really? Jeez. This gets old fast, Mulchera. It really does. I'm starting to think that there are a couple of bosses that are slightly bit better than you. I think Volvagia is the cooler of the dragon-type boss guys. So, yeah, that's right. You can't hold a candle to Volvagia. And this will prove it. So now that we've taken down all 4 bosses, and light up all 4 signs on the door... Woo, scary Ganon face! And the door disintegrates. Nifty. And now we can continue forward. With absolutely no items, because that's the cool thing to do. And as you progress up this staircase, ignore the mini-blins, because they're just going to spawn infinitely, and they're only there to distract you. So continue forward to this door, and now we enter Ganon's tower for real. I guess the other one was his basement that he never got around to finishing. And that's the door that we want to go through next, but we can't do anything to get through there. However, we do find that there are, to either side, there are a couple of doors. This is weird. Can we check this? I guess we can't check that. So there are 4 switches on the chandeliers in that room, and in the room directly across from it, in the same places, are 4 candles. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And Coral will not allow you to leave this room until he holds your hand through this puzzle. So let's try completely blowing off his text, and I will explain it when we get into the other room. He basically just says, don't overlook anything, like the things that were immediately pointed out to you when you walked through the room and you could not skip. And as if you couldn't get the hint from the first room, that's right, they pan to the switches in the exact same order as they did in the last room. So if you haven't figured out what to do by now, I suggest you restart the game until you learn how to play Zelda for real. So let's hit the switches with our boomerang in the order that they were shown to us. 1, 2, 3, 4. And when we do that, something completely unexpected will happen. I'm not talking about the dark void in the water here. I'm talking about that. How the hell did Coral get down here? And if he found a way in here, why didn't he just take us here in the first place? I see, so this is the portal through which Ganon was able to seep into the unsuspecting world above. UniGiant, we shall make use of the path that Ganon has created for himself. If there is anything from the world above that you believe you need, then climb into the boat and enter the column of darkness. So this will take us all the way back to the Forsaken Fortress, and from there we can stock up on absolutely anything we need, finish up any business we want, heart pieces, treasure charts, anything at all you could possibly think of, you can go down and do. However, since I already have everything I could possibly need, there's no reason for me to go back. Now when we enter this room, we'll find a stone slab here that we can check if the game will be nice to me. The sword hilts of my servants who lurk deep in the darkness shall be the guideposts that point to me. And that's a sign that obviously tells us that we should waste a fairy. So let's waste a fairy! And hop on down the hole, because that's so the intuitive thing to do. Yeah, because everybody would know to jump down the hole. So now we're in this room. There are 4 exits to this room, northeast, south, and west. And in each of these rooms is going to be a Phantom Ganon that you get to battle. So with these attacks, you can spin attack them all back. Eventually he will plummet down to the ground, And when you strike him down, his sword will fall, and the hilt will point in the direction of the door that you need to go into next. You can memorize the pattern to go through here. It's always the same path. And there are death traps. Well, they're not really death traps, but... I mean, when you reach the end, a dead end, then you'll usually be attacked by a horde of enemies. But nothing that we haven't already dealt with in the Savage Labyrinth. So you can just kind of, you know, work your way around here not knowing what you're doing, and not bother fighting with the Phantom Ganons. But it's the easiest way to go about it, unless you memorize the path, and hey, where's the fun in that? However, I do have this empty bottle equipped for a reason. And hopefully one of these guys will allow me to show you that. But if they won't, then I guess it's your loss. There's nothing I can do about it. I hope one of them will allow me to make use of it. But yeah, this gets exceptionally boring. Okay, here we go. This is what the bottle's used for. You can use it instead of your sword, and it gives you a little more freedom in terms of the timing to hit this thing back. So a lot of players like using the empty bottle instead of the sword for the little tennis match you have with Phantom Ganon, and you could have done that in Ocarina of Time as well. I just didn't think to do it at the time. And when I first played either of these games, I didn't know that you could use an empty bottle. I think it's really cool that you can do that. But I'm sure everybody else points out the exact same thing. So it shouldn't be news to anybody, unless this is the first time you've ever seen a Zelda game, in which case it shouldn't really surprise you because you wouldn't think to expect anything else. So this gauntlet should be coming to an end fairly soon, because we will enter a different room. And in here we actually get to fight the Phantom for real. For realsies this time! So strike him down. Die! And now the hilt will point in that direction. However, it will also spawn a spiky treasure chest. What could possibly be in here that Ganon would want us to have immediately before the final battle? If you guessed his greatest weakness, you were correct. You got the light arrow. When you take out your bow, use R to change arrowheads, then fire away. The sacred light of these arrows can pierce pure evil itself. That's right. The only thing that can defeat Ganon, he gave to us. Yeah. Explain that one, Nintendo. So when we reach the end here, the door opens up, and we're teleported back to the room from which we jumped down. However, if we wait around long enough, Phantom Ganon will spawn. But since we have the light arrows now, we don't need to worry about him so much, because we can just do that! And he explodes. Or implodes, I suppose, or just is magically teleported into another dimension. But regardless, we can pick up his sword. Wrong door. And chuck it at that door. And unlike the door on the other side that I stupidly tried to hit, this one actually breaks open. So let's make our way up the final staircase. Of course, we're going to have magic refills and fairies and things that we can get. Actually, I'm not sure if there are any fairies in here. You can take care of all of these guys with a light arrow, one shot. Just watch. He has no idea what hit him. I always loved that. And going around at the end of the game, after you've finished everything, you can go back outside into the main world and just kill everything with one shot with the light arrows. So here we have a Dark Nut. Same deal with him. One shot and he's done. It's so broken, this thing. That's why they wait until the very end of the game to give it to you, and I think they only give you these guys to deal with just so you know how powerful it is, even though you never actually get to use it. So we come up here. I'd very much like to take both of these guys out in one shot if they're going to let me. No, I guess not. And we have to wait for the light arrows thing to finish, and then we can fire away at this guy as well. Again, you don't have to kill them with the light arrows. I'm only doing it just for posterity, assuming that's the correct use of the word posterity. And I just love defeating enemies that way. I was really hoping one of these would have fairies, but then again, I suppose they expect you to use light arrows on all the enemies, and they need to give you refills for having used them. So now we get to this part, and we do the exact same thing to these dark nuts that I don't feel like battling, because I've got my work cut out for me when I walk through that door over there. So, break up. Hello, fairy! Don't let the fairy hit me in the cutscene. Fairy? There we go. Fairy! Okay, so now we have full bottles again, and you're not letting me skip the text. As if I've never gotten a fairy before, although it has been several months. So actually, let's equip that to that, and I don't know if we really need anything else. I just want to equip something over the... Yeah, I want to equip something over the fairy just so I don't accidentally use it. You have nothing of importance. You have nothing of importance. Magic I can use, and I believe that's everything we possibly need. So guys? Cliffhanger? Who doesn't love cliffhangers?